All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA video. The trade deadline has passed. We had a couple small trades that happened. I want to talk about that a little bit towards the end. Well, actually, through the course of this video, but I want to sort of give my, I guess not mid-season, sort of end of season predictions as we push towards the playoffs in the WNBA. WNBA is a little different. The top 8 teams make the playoffs regardless of conference. So the top 8 automatically get in, and that's the end of the story. I want to talk about what teams I think are going to drop a little bit, what teams are going to go up a little bit. So if you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. Just like perhaps consider subscribing. So we are winding down towards the end of the season. That is a mouthful. Um, and I want to talk about some teams that could go up, some teams that have got some acquisitions, some teams that have got some players back, some teams that have some players injured. It's going to be a wild end to the end of the season. Maybe the most wild we've had in a while. I didn't pull up the games here. Let me see real quick. Let me see. I just want to see how many games we have left in total. Because I know we're on the back stretch. We're on the back stretch. Um, Yeah, so we have like a month left of basketball or so of the regular season. So in that month, a lot could change. So I want to talk about um, what I think could happen. Let's, of course, start at the top. The Minnesota Lynx. They have lost um, Nafisa Collier for at least 2 weeks or more. Huge blow. She was in MVP conversations. I still think she wins it. But if she doesn't come back in a timely manner, she might lose it in this last month. I don't think the ankle's gonna keep her out a month, but the way people vote on this award is always weird. In any league, it's always weird. The Lynx did acquire Dejanay Carrington from the Dallas Wings, so that's a huge get. Um, there were some rumors that they were going to make another move, but nothing ever happened. Nothing ever materialized. So there's that. I think this is actually I forgot to say this. This is accurate. I did this literally before I started the video. I got this together. These records are accurate to today. This video is going to go up today on Friday the 8th. So this is accurate if you're watching this on Friday. It's accurate if you're watching it a day after. It might be a little inaccurate, but it still stands. None of these teams are particularly close except like Atlanta and Phoenix and not Las Vegas, Golden State and Los Angeles. Anyways, I think Minnesota stays right around here. I don't think they drop to 2 unless New York goes on a huge run. I don't think they drop to 2. I think they stay at 1. I think they can stay afloat without Nafisi Collier. And I think they stay here and they get the number 1 seed and they get home court. Moving on to 2, the Liberty. The Liberty are in an interesting spot. They're 9-10, and right behind them is Atlanta. They're 9-10, 19-10, and Atlanta's behind them, 19-11. Phoenix is right behind them as well at 19-11. It's a pretty close race. I think 2 is going to be so interesting because I talked about this in another video, but 2 is such an interesting spot to be because you have to play 7. So if 2 had to play 7 right now, you're playing either what would be a 2 very seasoned teams in Seattle or Vegas, or a very young team in Golden State, or even if Indiana drops and they get Caitlin Clark back towards the end of the year, you're going to run into them in the first round. So people might try to avoid the second seed if you can. I don't. If New York stays here, I just see them playing through it. I don't think they'll try to drop a game to get to the 3 and let Atlanta or Phoenix play them. I think they stay right here and just stay the course. Since they are the champs, they probably just want to get through it, not try to avoid anybody, and just try to play through it. Moving on to Atlanta. Atlanta has surprised me this year. I did not think they'd be this good. I thought they would be more 10-11 range. They are at 3. They are 19-11. Um, they're an interesting matchup because they from game to game they don't play the best. They play a certain style of basketball because they have 2 really, I say, old school front court players in Brittany Griner and Brianna Turner. Brianna Turner, right? Brianna Jones. No, one Brianna. There's a Brianna on their team. I know that. I always get them mixed up, but I don't think anybody wants to play them. I think they are such a hard team. If you do not have the right players to match up with them, they will beat you. They'll just bounce you from the playoffs. So they're good. I don't think they made any acquisitions. New York did get was it Missaman back? I think she had a good first game. I didn't look it up. I can look it up right now. Actually, here I'll pull it up for you guys. Um, let me see here. Let's see. I believe I don't want to say her name. I think it's Megan Missaman. Missaman. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Uh, Emma, not Megan. Emma. There you go. Emma. Emma. I knew it was something like yeah. She played against Dallas and UConn, two W's, and she had 13 one game and she had 11 the next. Pretty good stuff for a coming back to the league for the first time in like 4 years. Moving on, Phoenix. Phoenix is very weird. I talked about this in my video when I talked about what's going on with Phoenix, um, but I don't know how to feel about them. I feel like they are mentally soft. They did not make any midseason moves, deadline moves. Satu Sabli still on their roster, MVP candidate from a couple years ago, still out for personal reasons. And they have another MVP candidate, um, Alyssa Thomas, who's playing out of her mind right now at the forward spot, could steal the MVP from Nafisa Collier. Um, I think if if you see them in the playoffs, they're four right now. So if they were to stay at four, they would play five. They would have to play. They would have to play Indiana, which would be entertaining just for the value of uh, Brianna oh no, Dewana Bonner having to come back to Indiana to play a couple games in the playoffs, a team that she quit on, for Indiana to have to play against her. They played against each other the other night. I believe it was yesterday. I think Phoenix won. It would just be interesting for the entertainment value. For the basketball side of it, if if Indiana doesn't have Caitlin Clark, Phoenix wins this. But to have Phoenix right here, it's very interesting. I think they hang around here. I think these top four that I've just gone through hang around this area. They might swap places, but they hang around this area. Now, Indiana. Indiana is a team I could see dropping. A report came out this morning that both Sydney Colson and Ariel McDonald, um, both out with an injury. So they essentially have no point guard on the roster right now. They're going to have to sign somebody with expediency, with quickness, because they need somebody to play that point guard spot. Kalen Clark is obviously not ready. Those two other players just got injured, so they're going to need somebody. I could see them falling. Unfortunately, I could see them falling to even to 8. And once you get to 8 range, you're going to have to be fighting with Golden State, LA, and Washington. That is not a good mix to be in. They're the far superior team, but those teams are feisty. Those teams are scrappy. I do not want them to fall there. That'd be so bad. Um, so we'll see with Indiana. Seattle. Seattle picked up Brittany Sykes from Washington. I'm not the biggest Brittany Sykes fan because I don't really know what she does out there. Like I hear people like rave about Brittany Sykes, and I watched her a little bit when she was in LA. But like I just never got the vibe that she did anything impactful other than play defense, personally. So I guess Seattle wanted another on-ball defender, and I guess Brittany Sykes is a point of attack defender, and that's what's really hot in the market right now, especially in the NBA and the WNBA. Is a really steady defender that can alleviate some of the pressures from the other guards, especially because they have Skylar Diggins, they have a couple of the pieces, and they got their ass beat by Indiana the couple days ago because they didn't have a point of attack defender. Um, so yeah, I think Seattle could get up to Phoenix spot, or they could get up to. They're definitely gonna catch Indiana at this point. There's no doubt they catch Indiana. I'd be surprised if they didn't catch Indiana. Moving on to my Las Vegas Aces. My Las Vegas Aces, man. No Trade deadline moves. I kind of predicted that. They did not go get Aaliyah Edwards. They did not do that. I was very disappointed in that. And I made it very clear in my video when I talked about them that I kind of want them to lose. I want them to make the playoffs, but I want them to get their ass. I want them to get their ass beat in the playoffs. So they have to look themselves in the mirror and say, "This team sucked. We need to do something drastically different next season." Um, I have nothing to say about the Aces, even though they're my team. They're my favorite team in the league. I just have nothing to say about them. Nothing positive that I haven't already said. Um, let's just see what happens with them. If they drop to 8 or even 9, maybe miss the playoffs. I don't know. I don't think if Asia Wilson is healthy, I don't think that happens. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I really like Golden State as a team. They're up and down. They're 14-15 right now, but I like what they did. I like what they're doing. They've had so much adversity this year. The inaugural season of their franchise, it's been pretty incredible what they've done. Them sitting at 8 is probably better than where I had them projected. I think I probably had them bottom of the league, but they're at 8 and they could make the playoffs. If the playoffs started at 8, they'd be in the playoffs. They play Minnesota, but they'd be in the playoffs. um, the Sparks, the LA Sparks. My second favorite team, I guess. Yeah, my second favorite team has my most of my favorite players. Cam Brink made a return. Has had some really great, sharp games defensively. She hasn't lost a step defensively. Offensively, her game looks like it's improved a little bit. She's shooting the three with a lot more confidence, a lot more flow. They also have my favorite point guard, Kelsey Plum. Shout out Plum Dog. I think I think if everything happens the way I think it's going to happen, um, Indiana falling, Las Vegas falling, I could see Golden State and Los Angeles taking Indiana and Las Vegas' spot. Maybe. If the cards fall the right way, I could see that happening, and that'd be crazy. That means um, Los Angeles would play Minnesota. That would be interesting. And that would mean Golden State plays um, New York, which would be equally as interesting because that's a cross country first round for New York, and that's never fun going from literally cross country to cross country. That is never fun, and it would also be a return home for Sabrina Ionescu, who grew up in the Bay Area, I believe. So it'd be interesting. Last couple teams here: Washington, 13 and 16. I could see them creeping up. They have been really fun. Just they've been an exciting young team. They have Sonia Citron, who is in the running. She's really in there for Rookie of the Year. They have Kiki Ariafin, who I have grown to love. I literally couldn't say her name at the beginning of the year, and now she's one of my favorite um, post players, forwards in the league. Really fun. She's really good energy. That locker room seems like so much fun to be a part of. Um, and yeah, and that's it for the people vying for playoff spots. These last three teams: Chicago, Dallas, Connecticut. Chicago has just been it's been the season for hell for them. Everything that's gone wrong went wrong. They don't have their own draft pick. They have Connecticut's draft pick. I talked about that in the video I made about them the other day. If you want to hear what I had to say about them, put a comment in the top right corner. Just click it. Will take you right to the video. Um, yeah, it's not been a good season. There's nothing positive to take away from this aside from the fact that maybe Angel Reese has gotten more comfortable, and Camila Cardosa still doesn't have a lot of heart and a lot of effort, but at least she's putting up numbers. That's the only really positive things I can say, and I don't see them making a push. I don't see them. I think I looked at their schedule the other day. It's not good. It's not good. This is a tough end of the season for them, so I could definitely see them. Angel Reese is out with a back injury right now. I believe she's still out. I could see her resting for the rest of the season. There's no reason to play a month of basketball for nothing. Um, rest up, get healthy, worry about next season. Be your third year. Um, Dallas with Paige Beckers, uh, about as what you would expect from a team who had the number one pick. Bad, just bad. they brought in a lot of vets trying to, I guess, ease Paige into the WNBA, and it worked. And then you got to the point of the season where you need to sell off those assets. You can get more assets back, so you can build for the future. Right now, I talked about this in my other video. Is that you hope you get the number one pick, and you hope you get Lauren Betts, who I'm a big fan of. I think when I've talked to people in the WNBA and WNBA circles, people are in love with Lauren Betts. If she does indeed come out this year from college from UCLA, um, she'd be the perfect match for Paige Beckers. Now, Paige Beckers' girlfriend is also in this draft, AZ Fudd, who I don't think is a number one pick, but I could also see them taking AZ Fudd at one, which would be insane. I don't think you should do that. I think you should just take, when you have the number one pick, especially when you already have a really good guard, you don't need AZ Fudd, who's also a guard, who's also Paige Becker's girlfriend. That gets kind of work and relationships and doesn't really mix. And then I would rather just take the post player, get the roster more filled out, have your guard and big duo, and go throughout the rest of the season next season. And maybe you could be a Las Vegas, or not Las Vegas, a Golden State, a Washington next year, and maybe win a couple more games. 8-22 on the season. And the last team who did get Ali Edwards, the lady I wanted to go to my Aces, ended up in the worst team in the league in Connecticut. Not much about Connecticut otherwise that they suck. There was some Maria Mabry stuff that was going on that maybe she would get sent to Seattle. I don't know what happened to that, just never transpired. She remains in Connecticut along with their draft pick from this year, um, who I was a big fan of. I was hoping she would land in what you call it, with the Sparks. That did not happen. That's a whole different thing. I'm going on a tangent now. Let me see. Let me get her name for you. I forgot her name. I really liked her in the draft process, and now I plain can't remember her name. Um, Sinai Rivers, yes, great defensive player, leading the team in steals. Amazing. I didn't know that. I just looked at that. Damn, good for Sinai Rivers. Rookie year, leading a team in steals. Good stuff. Um, the only thing about Connecticut is that I'm gonna make a whole video about this because I have to do some deep diving on it because it is an interesting bit of meaty beef and controversy and lies and betrayal. It sounds like I'm writing a novel. The Connecticut Sun apparently sold to the same group that owns the Celtics, and the thought process was they were going to move to Boston by 2027, 2028. I theorized this like 100, almost 200 days ago that the Celtics were in the process of selling. They sold. I had a feeling, and I had heard from multiple reliable sources that Boston was interested in acquiring a WNBA team to move to Boston or creating their own. The first thing has happened where they want to move the Connecticut Sun to Boston. They probably won't be the Sun anymore because the Boston Sun sounds like a newspaper. They probably changed the name, but it's hit a hiccup. Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, did not make this sale known to the other owners, and there's controversy with the Mohegan Sun, who are a Native American group who own a bunch of casinos up in Connecticut. Those guys have a ton of money, um, and there's a bunch of stuff going on with them, and I need to look into it more because it is media. I want to go on my fact check, but that's the only thing going on in Connecticut right now besides the fact that they suck. So yeah, that's the video. A quick little 20-minute video breaking down sort of the latter half of the season we're going into here. Some of my predictions for these teams. Um, I will say this has been the most entertaining WNBA season in a while, um, especially considering there's probably going to be a new MVP. The reigning champs don't look like the reigning champs right now. A lot of young teams and a lot of teams I didn't think are good are good. Um, and yeah, that's really it. So I'm gonna put a card in the top right corner. It's gonna take you to the WNBA playlist. If you want to hear my other thoughts about the WNBA season, WNBA games, players, teams, click it. It will take you right to playlist. Watch the playlist if you want. If you've watched some of the videos, um, watch some other videos maybe. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.